Олон улсад алдартай элтгэгч, клиник үхлийн судлаач Diane Corcoranтэй хийж буй ярилцлага үргэлжлүүлэх доктор Diane Corcoranтэй хамт үхлийн дараах амьдралыг судлах үе нэвтрүүлгийн төгсгөлийн дугаарт тавтай морил. Хатагтай Corcoran клиник үхлийн талаарх судалгааны олон улсын нийгэмлэгийн ерөнхийлөгчөөр олон жил ажиллажээ. Тэрээр бие үзэл өгөх үед клиник үхэл ба нууцлаг шилжилтийн туршлагуудын эмхтгэл хэмээх номын зохиолч бөгөөд Ахмад Дайчдын тулааны клиник үхлийн төслийн тэргүүлэх судлаач юм. Хатагтай Corcoran сувилгын ухааны докторийн зэрэгтэй ажээ. Өнөөдрийн нэвтрүүлгээр Diane клиник үхэлд хамгийн ихээр тохиолддог онцлогуудын талаар тайлбарлана.
Well, the common characteristics are, some of them, is you have some kind of a clinical incident. You're drowned, you're electrocuted, you're shot, and then you feel yourself coming out of your physical body, and you're up by the ceiling, and you can see your physical body, and you can hear everything that's going on. And of course, a lot of people, they're not sure if they're dead, if they're alive. They don't know what's going on with them. Many of them will talk about then going further. Kids will say sometimes, I died and I went to heaven. You're likely to see other spirits there that are deceased relatives. And you might not know them, but you know that they are relatives of yours, and you get all kinds of information about that. There are beautiful music that is very different from what we have. There are flowers and colors that are very different than what we have. There are many aspects to knowing things. They'll say, I just knew what it was about. If you have any questions, if people want to know about religion, about medicine, about whatever, all they have to do is think it, and it will come to them, and they will get information about these things. So there's a lot of things that happen in that short period of time. They will have different after effects, but it's intense light and intense love. They will talk about this wonderful light that they walked into, and it was total unconditional love, being surrounded by unconditional love. And there's no competition to that, apparently. Many experiencers don't want to come back, even though they have children or have other things. They say, this is where I want to be. This is where I was meant to be.
Dr. Corcoran, do you think there are a lot of people who have had near-death experiences?
There are many millions of people who have had near-death experiences. Usually 1 out of 10 in just a random sample of people. I tell people all the time when they say, well, could you get me somebody who's had an experience? I say, go to your office or your family and just ask, because it's a very high proportion. And children, it's much higher than that. So millions and millions of people leave hospitals every day having had a near-death experience, and usually without support or knowing what to do about it.
Do you think people are more open about the near-death experiences now comparing to a decade ago?
I think certainly they're more open about it now, and many more people have talked about it. When I started doing this work, there were no books. Nobody'd written anything. And now we have thousands of books and movies. And so I think it really is important for us to see that it's gaining and gaining recognition. And it really is important for people to have that recognition, so people can feel that it's normal to have this experience. We just need to help them recognize what it is.
Голын дэргэд сууж дотоодын гэрэл аялгыг бяцлахаар бид гадаа хоромхон зуур гарах гэж байна. Тун удахгүй эргэн ирнэ. Доктор Diane Corcoranтай хамт үхлийн дараах амьдралыг судлах нь хөтөлбөрт эргэн тавтаа морил. Бид Diane-с эрүүл мэндийн мэрэгчлэнүүд клиник үхлийн талаар хангалттай мэдээлэлтэй байдаг эсэхийг асуув.
I don't think there is enough information. Nurses are very good. They usually know what a near-death experience is. Physicians still have not really gotten the message about NDEs, and because they're very science-based, they have a hard time sometimes with understanding something that's very spiritual in nature. We're starting to see that change because Dr. Alexander has written his book, The Proof of Heaven, which really helps. He's a neurosurgeon who had an NDE. So other doctors can get a sense from that. There's Dr. Mary Neal, who's an orthopedic surgeon, and we're starting to have a lot more doctors, which will help physicians come to grips with this idea. But we need more training, more education for the medical field for sure.
Клиник үхлийн туршлагаа бусдад хуваалцах хүмүүсийн сэтгэц эрүүл байх нь хамгийн чухал болохыг Diane онцлсан юм.
I've had many people who have had near-death experiences that thought they were going crazy. They really didn't know what was happening to them. And so I've had the opportunity to sit with them and talk with them and teach them about the near-death experience and after effect. And it certainly gave them a better perspective, and it took them a while to integrate it into their life, but they were much happier once they knew the information about it.
Your service seems to be more focused on veterans and children. Why do you feel that they need more help?
Children need more help because they're going to try to tell their parents that something happened to them. They died, they went to heaven, they saw God, they saw angels. And if the parents don't believe them, then they're not going to talk about it again. So that makes them very isolated because they have no place to go. Mm-hmm. Soldiers are very individual people. They've already had physical problems, they've had PTSD, they've had a whole boatload of issues to deal with. And then to have an NDE on top of it makes it very difficult. They really need somebody that could just let them validate their experience and let them talk about it a little bit.
And what do you find is the most rewarding in your job?
The most rewarding is being able to help people. You know, if you can help one person, if you give a lecture, if you give a talk, and one person made their life easier because you were able to give them something, I think that's the best reward we can ever have. The most important message that we have in the NDE field today is that we spread the word and we support people and we acknowledge them and we listen to children and we listen to people who are trying to tell us about a different world that exists. And the veil's getting thinner and thinner for people to move back and forth. Children move back and forth very easily. And so I think we just have to keep moving one person at a time, one group at a time, and show them that the NDE is all about love.
Доктор Diane Corcoran танд клиник үхлийн туршлагын салбарт замшлагч гэрэл байгаад талархан буйгаа илэрхийлье. Хайр нэгүсэл хэрсэн ухаан тань бид бүгдэд үлгэр жишээ болж байна. Diane Corcoran-ы талаарх дэлгэрэнгүй мэдээллийг дараах хаягаар авна уу. Corcoran Consulting-ийг biz клиник үхлийн судалгааны олон улсын нийгэмлэгийн талаарх Дэлгэрэнгүй мэдээллийг дараах хаягаар авна уу? IANS.org. Зөөлөн сэтгэлд үзэгчтэй доктор Diane Corcoranтэй хамт үхлийн дараах амьдралыг судлах үе нэвтрүүлгийн сүүлийн дугаарыг хүлээн авч үзсэнд баярлалаа.